Emily. Paula Ferrari is a Melbourne-based comedian and producer of Australia's longest-running online comedy show, Unmuted Comedy. Paula's funny and a lot of fun. Everyone put your hands together for Paula Ferrari.
Yeah.
Hello. Talking about lockdown companions, I think a lot of people started with a soulmate and ended with a cellmate. All my happiest friends were the ones that were already divorced. But yeah, my dad also likes animals. Riva.
Hey.
He had a poster of Miss Piggy dressed in lingerie on his bedside when I was growing up. Anyway, I didn't ask any questions about that. It's actually Sunday afternoon in Melbourne where I am, so greetings from the future to anyone who is still on Saturday night time. It was fun. It was fun Saturday night, and don't worry, in the future everything's fine. So I'm a speech pathologist and a teacher, which means I spend half my time teaching kids to talk, and then the other half of my time trying to get them to shut up. I'm also a parent. I'm a parent of twins. People don't tell you how, like, there's so much crying when you're a parent. I haven't stopped for 14 years. People ask me if my twins feel pain at the same time, and the answer is yes, when I'm banging their heads together. Just kidding, just kidding. One of the superpowers I discovered I had during the pandemic was, because of all the COVID testing, the advantages of having a very big nose. I often got complimented on my big nose skills and my lack of gag reflex as well when it came to the swabbing. I've never had that compliment from a professional. But it used to be taboo to pick your nose in public, and now it's mandatory. And we're getting special tools to do it with, and then you have to report the results. Anyway, I wanted to keep my set clean today, but I don't know if a nose picking joke counts as clean. It's not blue, but it's green. It's green. Clean and green. That's my nose picking joke. I stopped during the first lockdown. People were talking about how much fun it was earlier, and it really was. I had a lot of fun during the first lockdown. So much fun that my doctor classified it as alcohol use disorder. And I was like, no. It was just a lot of hauler parties. So after the first lockdown, I decided I probably needed to stop drinking, because I started getting reward points from the alcohol delivery service. They were throwing in like free socks to reward me for being such a good customer. And I was like, someone's watching my drinking, it's not me. So I decided I need to stop drinking, and then I decided I probably need to stop smoking as well, because, you know, it is meant to be a respiratory illness, this virus. And so the first thing I did was take up smoking. That's what got me through. That got me through the first lockdown. But I ended up being addicted to smoking as well. So I stopped drinking, but it was really hard to stop smoking. So the doctor gave me some medicine to help me stop smoking, and I went to the chemist to get it, and they told me that it was no longer provided because it caused cancer. And I was like, what? Is it more cancer than smoking? And I thought, you know, shouldn't I have the choice of the type of cancer I want? And surely the drugs to stop your smoking would be a healthier type of cancer. And, you know, my body, my choice. Anyway, on day 2 today, day 2. Ooh, I'm feeling great. Uber ratings. Does anyone... You guys have Uber as well, and you get rated for what sort of a passenger you are when you get into an Uber, and you can see what your rating is. And it's to try and work out whether or not you're going to be a good passenger or a good person. You know, it's a way of measuring your humanity. And I'm very competitive, so I was very upset when I discovered that I wasn't a 5-star passenger. I'm only 4.74, and I was worried about where I lost my stars, because I'm always polite, I'm always on time, I always pay. Anyway, I realised it was probably because I order Ubers for my friends, my poor friends, usually comedians, and also other people I know who can't afford Ubers, so mentally ill people. And I'm doing that out of the goodness of my heart, but I think it's their behaviour that's made me lose points on my Uber rating. So the problem is now I'm never going to order an Uber for those guys again. So, and one of them was my sister. So this Uber rating system has really made me into a worse person. Anyway, as a female comedian, often told that women often talk about their vaginas. I'm not going to talk about my vagina. I'm going to talk about my mum's vagina. Actually, I'm going to talk about my birth. By that, I mean I'm talking about my birth. That's what we really mean, isn't it? When we're saying it's our birthday, we're talking about what happened to our mum's vaginas. So my mum was actually on duty as a midwife the night I was born, which in a very small hospital. So, and she was the only person on duty, which was kind of convenient because, you know, she's already at work when she goes into labour. It's kind of inconvenient. Depends on how you look at it. Either way, it was hard labour. My mum was an activist. She's an activist for birth rights. So when we were teenagers growing up, Mum was so excited about liberating women from the shackles of medical birth that she would bring home videos to show us of women giving birth in different positions. And we'd say, Mum, we've seen the squatting position. Can't we just watch The Simpsons like the other kids? Kind of traumatic being the daughter of an activist. And now I've grown up to be an activist for the clitoris. Those videos are really hard to find. Thankfully, my children thank me for that. I became an activist for the clitoris because I grew up in Australia, and my first boyfriend and I were together for 5 years, and I didn't have one orgasm in 5 years. And I don't know if it was his fault or my fault, because he didn't know anything about the clitoris, my clitoris, and neither did I. But I used to be, you know, a little bit upset about that. And then the way he would do foreplay was, I don't know if he's a shining example of Aussie men, not all Aussie men, but he just used to poke me and say, are you awake? That was our foreplay. But then looking back now after the Me Too movement and finding out what Bill Cosby used to do, he didn't bother waking them up. So I guess Cal, my first boyfriend, he was quite the gentleman really, checking that I was awake. Should be thankful. Should be thankful. You know, I went to a show the other day, and the singer told me every detail about how they wrote the song they were about to sing and why they wrote the song they were about to sing and how they felt when they wrote the song. And I was just like, just sing the fucking song. I don't care. They're spoiling it for me. Imagine if comedians did that. Like before every joke, we told you the horrific experience that we had had to lead us to this little humorous nugget of gold to share with our audience. That's just one of the perks of being a comedian. Anyway, I don't know if I've got time for my dead husband material. Or maybe my child suicide jokes. I'll just finish on that. During the lockdown, I found out that I don't have to worry about my children killing themselves because they're far too lazy. They expect their parents to do it for them. Anyway, on that note, thank you so much for listening. You've been great. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Woo. Thank you so much, Paula. Man, she comes in hot and gets out hot. She's just like Tabasco. I hope you all are having a great time, and